I was thinking to myself a few minutes ago that opinion, when all is said and done, really should probably just be kept to yourself in this current climate when it comes to uh, anything political or racially motivated, at least perceived to be, basically. And I'll elaborate, because this is motivated by an experience I had. And the experience was sitting in a classroom about a week ago, and we somehow get on the subject. One of the students brings up Black Lives Matter, and they're basically defending people who, really have no opinion of it and just don't know that much about it, and think if you say all lives matter, it shouldn't be a, turn off to the people who claim they're part of the other movement. Now, she was met by not one, not two, but three students proceeding to verbally gang up on her and try to shut her down. And as I sit here, because I don't contribute to any discussions in this class having to do with anything I know is relatively unpopular in the crowd that I'm in, unless it's just stating a fact. So I'll say, okay, well, this person said this person said that, this is what happened, this place put out this statistic. Anything that is just completely neutral. That's aside from that, that's it. I will not give my opinion at all because I expected if I went and said, blacks kill each other 9 times out of 10, I will be met with, a whole that whole room might have exploded on me. And for that reason, I'm not compelled to even repeat that behavior online. If somebody comments my video and calls me whatever and says that, you know, BLM and the Boston, the Baton Rouge and Dallas shooters were heroes who are all trying to save blacks from their white oppressors, the same white oppressors that got them out of slavery and, have given them multiple opportunities since then. Um, I don't respond to it most of the time. I don't even try to argue it, and I've done that in the past within the last year or so. But I'm done. I'm completely through with. And it's not to say, oh, I'm just going to remain mute and not respond to anybody. I'll respond to someone who says, oh, I like your video. Or says, hey, what did you mean by this? I'll clarify that. But as far as this back and forth arguing thing, it's over. I'm past the point where I'm up for a debate about what I know because I know how I feel won't be changed most likely by what you have to say. Just as I know that what I had to say wouldn't change what they felt. Because see, people's experiences, and this is something I know has been repeated multiple times, so I'm just stating it again to tell you where I'm coming from. People's experiences are fueled by what they see. The majority of those people in that classroom do not look up shootings. They've never seen those statistics. All they have to go by is what they read on CNN or what they see on CNN, because they're not watching Fox News. Um, and because of that, we really have, these differing opinions. Me, on the other hand, I go and I might look this stuff up occasionally. I, definitely look at the statistics. And because of that, I am not, manipulated into believing that whites are out to get me. Um, they are reflective of who I was 2 or 3 years ago and even then when I was probably a sophomore, freshman in high school, Trayvon Martin thing had just happened. That when I was in 8th grade actually, but I was even at that point still convinced that whites aren't my enemy. They're as a whole they are not my enemy. No race of people in my view is my enemy, but they are also on an average not my friend. We are mutual acquaintances living in this country, and I believe we can coexist. But we are not, just we're not buddies on average. Every single white person I see is not my buddy, just as every single black person I see is not my buddy. Some of them I don't know, I'm scared of. And it's just the fact that I really at this point know that the person who's most likely to get me at the end of the day is someone who looks like me. Imagine you sitting somewhere and someone who has the exact same face as you will just do whatever and end your life. And I know that to be a fact, that it can happen. And it has a higher chance of happening than, whites doing something to me. Not to say that whites couldn't do something to me, but the overwhelming majority of the time, it's by another black person. And just as I sit here with you today, November 7th, the day before the election, I'm scared to even, go in my classes and say anything about, anything you say in this liberal state of California defending Trump will be completely bastardized. They will tell you you are wrong, you are incorrect. No, he's a racist. You bet, and it's just I don't I try to explain this to them over and over again. I am not on his side. I don't I have he has policies I disagree with. But so does his opponent, which is why I'm neutral. I'm for nobody. If there's one good thing that came out of this election cycle, it is that it has allowed me to be in the middle and not really have any type of feel as to, who to say, oh, but what she did wasn't that bad. Completely neutral. I am probably the most just non-biased source you can find. I was a fan of Sanders, and I'll admit where he did things wrong. But again, that's still me being neutral or admitting my bias and then trying to remain neutral on something else. So it's not even just, you know, you have to go along with the crowd. It has to do with the fact that you can't just say anything that you feel is backed by a fact or that you feel. I mean, yeah, there are things that people say that are crazy. Some people say we should ban all guns, and then you'll have. Actually, that might actually get you some friends over here. But you'll have people who will say that in spite of the Second Amendment, and they'll have their people who go after them. But even then, it's still not that big of a deal over here in California because there's not the same crowd or demographic who, on average, disagrees with them. You go to Texas saying that, you either get laughed at or just be ready to get into a fight. And it doesn't mean the people of Texas are violent. It means that people in different states think differently. And, I'm not going to move somewhere else just because I have a varying political belief. Because I keep explaining over and over again that I'm very progressive, but the person you nominated isn't someone I'm for. And I don't see what's the problem with that. In fact, most people, I told you about Huger 2 days ago, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't understand how you could just switch up, because you think somebody's a little bit better. And I explained why I felt the way I did. And, I didn't go and, talk about him being dumb or say he was stupid because that's childish. And I'm not a little kid anymore. I've been a little kid in a couple of years now. So I feel as if I've moved on from name calling somebody because they do something or like something that I don't like. And I really feel that's a opinion or view or way of treating people that is completely just disappearing as time goes by within America. I mean, you go on YouTube and see people commenting and just talking smack about others. And it's just, if you know the person says things you don't like, or if you watch this video by chance and I say something you don't like, why don't you just leave? And that's another thing. People, I mean, if I just say, okay, I don't agree with Black Lives Matter because blacks on average kill each other more. That's all I would say, and just keep going on my day. You'll have someone who will sit there and type a paragraph on my video, or try to debate me in public about this. And I'll tell them, don't even try. You're not going to change my mind. Then they'll say, oh, you're saying that because you have no substance. No, I have substance. I just don't feel the need to go back and forth with someone when the outcome is going to be the same or worse. You already don't like me, I'm sure, because I differ in opinion from you. You'll probably hate me if I, actually spit facts or spit what I know to be true or, from my own experiences. I mean, and they're even crazier just because some of these supporters of BLM. Well, I'll probably do a video on the in 2 days on the ninth, kind of depending on who wins, and then stating what can be done. I'll do something to that effect. But the point is, they get so impassioned about this stuff, and it's not just them. It's people with politics and religion in general, which I've always been big on politics, but I've never really been big on religion as far as going back and forth. There are some things about Christianity that I don't understand. There are things about it that I don't agree with, but I'm still Catholic. And you'll have some who'll say, "Oh, you're not a real one." How you gonna tell me what religion I am? I mean, it's just so, and like, you kind of want to laugh at it because it's so ridiculous. But at the same time, you can't, I can laugh about this stuff because it's a joke to me. I know it is serious. Me being able to, move on in life and get a job and afford a house and all of it, that's important. That's serious. That's something that actually matters. You being mad about me over me having a different opinion from you on a person that neither one of us has ever met or ever will meet, that doesn't matter. That's not a big deal. Me and you going back and forth is, let's say you change my opinion. That's only one vote. That's one vote that disagrees with you. And really, if your person was that easy to, you know, stir you up like this, then why are you even backing that person? If they're just this such contentious thing where you can't stand somebody else feeling a different way from you, you get so enraged. And over nothing. BLM, it feels as if they never asked themselves if blacks are. I mean, you have this one Sandra Bland post, which I'm not even going to get into that, but she has a post where she wrote, in the current climate, you could be standing there black and then still get shot. If that's true, then why haven't we seen a giant triumphant victory for the white racist cops? Why is it still 9 out of 10 blacks getting killed by blacks? Why isn't it the other way around? I mean, I don't get it. But they never asked themselves that. They like, if they're watching this video right now, they'd hear me say that, and then they would just go off, just explode into have flames coming out the back, Human Torch, flame on. They would do that. And if they were around their friends, their like-minded buddies, who, they've all agreed we can't have different opinions, they would all just sit there and, say, yeah, we gotta get this guy. Yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, you can't even have a different opinion without people going in on you. It's ridiculous. And I'm tired of, having to sit in these classes and sit in these places and be scared to speak up. Because someone might, gang up on me with their buddies that are like-minded and then confront me over it outside of class. And every time that, something like that is set to happen, I just say, look, I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change my mind. Let's move on to something else. Or, I mean, I keep meeting a lot of people who agree with me on this stuff, but those are the ones I mainly talk to. But in the rare case that someone different, if they ask me a question, I respond. If I ask them a question, they don't respond. I asked this one, she's African American, same age as me, maybe a little bit older. I asked her, she asked me, why do you dislike Clinton? I gave her about 6 reasons why. And all she could tell me was, that's me. And I asked her, then why do you like her? And she refused to tell me. I mean, she told me why, she told me how she felt about Trump, which was kind of ridiculous because it wasn't even fueled in his policy. But the point is, I'm willing to have an open discussion with you even if we do not agree on an issue. I don't understand why we have this current system in place where, oh, you said something I didn't like, get away from me, don't talk to me. I mean, it's as if no one has self-control to the point of just being able to hear someone out. No open-mindedness. Open-mindedness is just dead. It's gone. It's buried. It's been sealed in the Bermuda Triangle. You're never going to find it. Explain to me where it makes sense that I'm supposed to sit over here and, completely shut myself off from talking to someone because they're differing in opinion from me. I mean, I've always had people who didn't agree with me, and a lot of times when I was younger, that would change my mind. Um, but most stuff that changes my mind now is something that can't be disputed. Someone has a tape of someone saying something, or they have proof of this or proof of that.